Catholic Geek, the Catholic Why. Why do Catholics have crucifixes? Many non-Catholic Christians feel uncomfortable with the crucifix, a cross bearing the image of Christ crucified. They prefer an empty cross and often ask, if Jesus rose from the dead, why show him still on the cross? First, it should be said clearly, Catholics also use plain crosses. The Church does not reject the empty cross, but she also treasures the crucifix because it proclaims something essential that must never be forgotten. Historically, resistance to the crucifix has often had less to do with reverence for the resurrection and more to do with anti-Catholic sentiment. In fact, during the Reformation, many early Protestants rejected all use of the cross, empty or not, as a sign of popery, despite St. Paul's insistence that we preach Christ crucified and that the cross is the power of God. See 1 Corinthians 1:17-18. Those who worry that the crucifix overshadows the resurrection should listen instead to the prophets. Zechariah foretold a day when God's people would gaze upon the Messiah's suffering. They shall look on him whom they have pierced. They shall mourn for him, as one mourns for an only child. Zechariah 12:10. St. John confirms that this prophecy is fulfilled in Jesus' crucifixion. See John 19:37. The prophet continues by saying that when God's people look upon the pierced Messiah, God pours out a spirit of mercy and supplication. Catholics have found this to be true across centuries. Gazing upon the crucifix awakens gratitude for the greatest gift ever given. See Psalm 116:12-13, and deepens sorrow for sin, the very sin that nailed Christ to the cross. See Romans 6:1-12. The crucifix does not deny the resurrection. It explains it. Christ's victory did not bypass suffering, it passed through it. The empty tomb only makes sense because of the cross. This is why the New Testament repeatedly presents the crucifixion as Christ's triumph over the powers of darkness. He disarmed the principalities and powers, triumphing over them by the cross. Colossians 2:15. This is why Christian tradition has long held that the forces of evil recoil at the sight of the crucifix. It is a visible proclamation that sin, death, and Satan have already been defeated. Finally, the crucifix reminds believers of something deeply personal. Our own suffering has meaning. When united to Christ, our trials can participate in his redemptive work. I rejoice in my sufferings, and in my flesh I complete what is lacking in Christ's afflictions for the sake of his body. Colossians 1:24. The crucifix teaches us how to live, how to suffer, and how to love. It shows us not only what Christ has done for us, but also what it means to follow him. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Matthew 16:24.